Welcome everybody to Master of Orion. My name is Maxwell and I just wanted to bring you a very quick review video of Master of Orion Early Access. This one is the straight up successor to the Master of Orion series 1, 2 and 3. Not a spiritual successor, a straight up sequel to them, but they've done that thing that sequels usually do when they bring back a long dead series, is just call it Master of Orion or call it whatever it is without a number after it or any kind of tagline. But that doesn't diminish what this game is all about. So I'm going to very quickly go through what is available in early access and what is not, give you my very quick thoughts, and then leave you to make your own mind up. So if we start off in the main menu, there is multiplayer going to be available right off the bat. This is before early access launches, so obviously there are no games here, but you can create your own game or join somebody else's game. You can make it private if you want to just be in with your friends, and that is it. And then the options are a little bit lacking at the moment. We do have graphic settings, gameplay settings, audio settings, control interface, all that good stuff. But what you really want to see is the single player, how to set up a game. So you can click quick batch, and what that does, it just takes your last loaded settings and loads a game straight up. Obviously you can save and load a game, or you can hit new game. So if we go to new game, one thing you'll have to be aware of is the fact that there is a voiceover that goes on every time you click on one of these races. There's no way of disabling that, so I'll probably just cut that out in the video because it's going to be super annoying. So to begin with, there are going to be 6 races in the early access, with another 4 coming over the course of the development period. These 6 races, are the Alkari, the Bulrathi, the Humans, the Mersan, the Cylons, and the Sakra. They all have their own unique abilities and their unique traits. If you have a look here, you can have a look at them on the right hand side. I'm not going to dwell too long on them. The Alkari are basically lofty, inflexible and honourable. The Bulrathi, headstrong, territorial and ferocious. These are kind of like your defensive kind of guys. Humans are diplomatic, stubborn and characteristic. These are the ones who are going to try and make friends with everyone. The Mersan, you can see, are fearless, warlike and proud. They are the warrior type race who are just going to want to fight everybody. The Cylons are brilliant, unsympathetic and creative. These are the ones that are going to be well up on research. And the Sakra are numerous, brutish, and inarticulate. These guys just love to breed and love to overrun everything. And then we have 4 more races that are coming later during the development period. So once you've picked your race, you move forward into here. You can have your new game set up, and there are some advanced options, but again, not all of them are in yet. Galaxy type, you can have circle or spiral. You can choose your galaxy size, your galaxy age. There's one thing, I'm not sure about whether this is carrying over into early access or whether this is just for the preview, but the only difficulty level to select at the moment is average. You can have up to 5 opponents versus yourself, and then you get a little seed box. So if you find a good seed for a good galaxy, you can share that with your friends or online, or you can find other ones online. So here we go, you can have advanced settings as well. Now at the moment there are only 2 or possibly 3 victory types in. There's the excellence, diplomatic, and then the dominance where you kill everybody. Again, we've been told that more victory types will be coming throughout the early access period. So definitely don't worry about that. So if you wanted to, you can actually go ahead and change up your race at this point here if you feel like you've made a mistake. You can just go ahead. Oh no, you can knock somebody out if you want, so you could take out 2 guys here or change their races. If you did want to go back, you'd have to click the back button. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into a game, and I'm going to give you my very quick thoughts on how the game actually plays. So as you load in, this is the view that we are encountered with. So this isn't a free roaming 4X game. It is split into systems and what I like to call space lanes. So your ships can only move along these dotted lines here and can only move around systems to designated areas. These little dots here are called warp points. At those warp points later on you can manufacture star bases and military outposts to help in defense. But as you can see, you can take your ship here and tell them to move to various different locations. Each movement takes up to a set amount of turns. As you can see, moving within a system will only ever take 1 turn, because obviously a system isn't particularly far. If you want to head to a different system, you can see there it tells us that that's going to take 4 turns. You can do the same with scout ships, like that. You can move those around. And that's very basically movement. You can unlock research later, which allows you to move faster and farther. But at the moment, that's all we need to do.
Welcome, Your Highness.
When we have a look at research, there is a lot of research in this game, a lot. If you're familiar with other 4X strategy games like, say, Civilization, then this will not be daunting to you at all. Although, to be honest, it is slightly daunting to anybody. So, you start off with 1 type of research for free, and then you all go from there. Each race gets a different, or at least 1 out of these 4 different research branches already unlocked. So it's general 4X strategy fare here. When you unlock a research, it generally gives you something extra that you can build, and maybe some passive bonus as well. You can hover over any of these little extra dots here to check what you'll be getting. What I will say is some of these researchers, like say this one here, no, not the toxic processor, here, genetic engineering. Certain research branches, when you unlock them, will actually ask you to make a decision. So here, this says xenobiotics. If you unlock this one, not that one, sorry, genetic engineering, you will be given the choice to take either the telepathic training there or the microbiotics. You won't get both of those, as you see. That's denoted by the fact that it's got a little line between them there, so be aware of that. Any research that has a little line between 2 different things means that you will be faced with a choice. And once you've made that choice, you can't undo it either. It's a one-time choice that you have to make once the research is completed. You can see there's more going further into the line here. This is a choice of 3 here. So bear that in mind when doing your research. As usual as well, you can head further down the tree, find a research that you like, click on that one, and it will automatically queue up everything that leads to that one.
Yeah.
Now, when we come to colony management, this is incredibly intuitive. I was very happy with how this has worked out. This is your planet overview here. Top right hand corner gives you some information about the planet. We have here size, biome, and minerals. And the size just denotes how many of these little pips you get on the planet. The biome denotes how well the population grows, and minerals denotes how good your production is ran. And then some systems get special bonuses here. As you see, this one has artifacts, which grants a boost to the research. So what you want to do down at the bottom left hand here is production. You want to choose one of these things here that you want to build. We're going to go with an automated factory, as it gives us +2 straight production. That production will get added to this number here as well. So it's base production. You don't need to have people stocked into here. So when it comes to citizen management, this is very, very intuitive. You can see we have a population of 7 out of a maximum population of 11. And as you can see here, we have 7 little birdmen that we can move around at our will. You can move them to any designated job that you like. You can have them either researching, producing food, or producing production. It's super intuitive. You just drag and drop on which one you want, and these numbers above their heads will add to the base of each one. Obviously, as you can see, there are diminishing returns, as these ones are 3, then 2s, then 1s. So you'd really need to make a tactical choice about whether you want to squeeze that extra last couple of production out, or whether you want those guys into food production, or you want them in research. It is really a tactical decision that you need to make here with this. And it's very, like I said, very, very intuitive. If you don't want to worry about trying to do that, you can take colony focus here from manual. and change it just to food. And as you can see, it just whacks everything into food. Or you can do research, but you can see it still tries to maintain a level of food where your populace doesn't starve, which is very, very nice. You go with balanced, which is what it's on as default, or you can have manual. Manual is a good one to have if you know what you're doing. If you don't, then I would just put it on balanced for all of your colonies. You also, as you might expect with a 4X strategy game, you can have a build queue, where you can queue up multiple things in a row, and then one will just build after another. You can also have this auto build function here if you don't have time to manage your populations, or you just want to concentrate on the act of making war or exploring. You can just have your civilization on auto build. You need to do that for every colony though. And then once you are done, if there's something that you left to do in a turn, it'll tell you in this bottom right hand corner here. One little nice touch is when you've got units set to move in 4X strategy games, normally what happens is you hit next turn and everything moves at the end of the turn. But if you want to get an idea of how things are going to go, you've got this little move button here, and you can actually tell people to move before the end of the turn, which is just very nice. It may allow you to get into combat with somebody or swipe an anomaly before the enemy is able to do that. So you see we have a fleet that still needs orders, so we're going to send our colony ship down to the bottom there. And then when you're done, you just hit next turn, and everything processes. The opponents get their turn, and then it moves right back to you. So when it comes to founding your first colony, or just any colony, like I said, you hover over a planet like that and it'll tell you what their stats are. So you get, this one is large, arid, and mineral abundant. So it's going to have plenty of slots. The biome's okay, so the population will grow at a decent rate. The minerals are fairly abundant, and its special is it has gold reserves, and what that means is that it will produce free money every single turn. So once you're in orbit, you just click not him, you click the colony ship, and you click the colonize button. You get a nice little cutscene. You can just skip these if you like, although at least for the first few, it may be interesting just to watch the ship glide in and land. And it is as simple as that. Then we have a brand new colony. We're just going to use auto build, except it's going to build marine barracks, so we're not going to use auto build. We're going to build some hydroponic farms. And there we go. So you see, we'll wait a few turns for this place to grow. And then along the bottom, once you've got more than one colony, you can just use this next colony button, which will allow you to very quickly manage your colonies. And then we're going to move on to the top row here. You can see this is a list of our income and expenditure. This gives you a detailed breakdown there of all of our upkeep, all of our taxes, and all of that, and tells us exactly what we are spending. This is our command points. Command points are used by starships in this game. Every ship has a command point allocation with it. Scouts, I think, are 1. Larger ships are more. If you run out of command points, you can build star bases around your planets, and that gives you more command points. Command points aren't a hard cap, though. You can go over your command point limit, but for every point over your command point limit, you have to pay a huge amount of gold in order, or credits, in order to maintain your fleet. So for a short time, you can go over your command point cap, but it's going to cost you a large amount of credits, so just bear that in mind. This is our research. This is just a breakdown of where we're getting research from, and then this bar here tells us what we're researching and how long it will be until it unlocks. Top right hand side here, we have a whole bunch of options as well. This is our empire here. From here, we can look at all of our different colonies at a glance. We can even set the focus and queue up things to be built from this menu as well. From here, you can also manage your tax rate. As you can see, every colony has a morale rating here. Lowering taxes will increase the morale rate, and then increasing taxes will lower the morale rate. If a colony's morale rate gets too low, workers will go on strike. If we go into it here, you can see that workers on strike still count in the queue, but they do not produce any points themselves, but they do take up space in a queue. So just be aware of that. I've found a good one is either 1 or 2 credits to keep the morale up high. Or basically you want to have it at a setting where nobody is on strike and you can make the maximum amount of cash. Next we have research. That just brings us to here. You can click there to go to the research tree. We've already covered that. Here you have ship design. This is one of the big things about this game. Not only do you have your own ships here, but you may design your own ships. So if you want, you can pick the body type for it. You can have whether you want the alternate or the base model. There will obviously be more of these. You get to select its core systems, and you get to select any specials that you've researched, and then you get to pick its different weapons. Over here, this is telling you how much resources they'll cost to build, how many command points they'll take up in your fleet, and how much space you physically have in the ship. Everything takes up space, so just bear that in mind. As you can see, I don't think we can fit anything else in the ship. We can put a laser cannon on there, just to squeeze in the last bit of space that we can. And that is how you edit your ships. Next, we have diplomacy. We haven't met anybody yet, but these slots would get filled out. It would tell you what we know about the different races and what their diplomatic standing towards us is. This screen is the path to victory. It tells us how close it estimates we are to different victory types. As you can see at the moment, we have an excellence victory, a conquest victory, and a diplomatic victory. Like I said, there will be more becoming unlocked as we go through early access. There's going to be technological victory and economic victory that are not in the game just yet. After that, we have planets. This is not just our planets. These are the planets that we have discovered. As you can see, they are all listed here. And then we have fleets, which tells us our different fleets. That is our frigate, or our scout ship and frigate. And this is our other scout ship. And then top right hand corner is the main menu, or you could just hit escape to bring that one up. So I want to move on to my final thoughts for this game in the last couple of minutes. If you've heard all you need to know, then feel free to click away now, but don't forget to leave us a like if this video was helpful for you. So my final thoughts are, is the game worth it in early access? My biggest gripe with this game, I would say, is the fact that you only get access to the early access of the game if you buy the collector's edition, and the collector's edition is fairly expensive. If you're just a casual 4X fan, then it's probably not going to be worth the quite steep buy-in price for you. If, however, you're quite a die-hard 4X fan and quite a die-hard Master of Orion fan, and can't wait for this game to be released, then I would say that the game is almost certainly worth the buy-in. Reasons for that being that the people who are developing it, Wargaming, I know their community team and I know they take community feedback seriously. Now, there is going to be specific forums for people in early access where suggestions will be read and will hopefully be followed through. These guys are pretty good at communicating with the community and taking feedback and suggestions on board and implementing them within the game. That doesn't mean that every harebrained suggestion and criticism is going to be taken seriously or have anything done about it, but it does mean that in the general bigger picture of things, they will pay attention and we will be able to help shape development of the game. So there's one last thing I just want to show you before we end this very, very brief review. And that is, I want to show you the combat in the game. So combat is handled ever so slightly differently in this game. I am aware that it is the same as in other Master of Orion games. So if we just get into a fight with this pirate here. Now, combat isn't initiated automatically. If I was to click next turn here, these two wouldn't get into a battle unless the pirate wanted to do battle with me. What you need to do is click on your fleet and click this attack button here. And then you are brought into this screen, and you can either simulate the battle or you can click tactical. I'm going to click tactical because we want to see what the battle is. So, the battle screen is actually more like an RTS, as we are about to see. So as soon as you load in, you can hit space to pause. Up here, you've got enable or disable AI. If you enable AI, the ships will just do their own thing however they like. If you disable AI, then they will be commanded entirely by you. If you click on a ship, if you've got more than one ship, you can set different formations. And then from here, you get your controls. You can either slow down, speed up, play, or toggle the camera. While you pause, you can give orders. So we right-click on that tactical unit there. This is only a small-scale battle. As you can see, our one ship versus their three. So it's not like there's going to be a fantastic amount of orders to give. I mean, if you wanted, I could select him and tell him to come over here instead, or come over here, or fly over here. But no, we're going to tell him to attack. One thing I will point out is these asteroids do provide cover. So if somebody launches a barrage of missiles, they do move slowly. You can hide behind cover, and that will stop and intercept the missiles. These guys are just going to circle around each other for a while. Our frigate easily outclasses their little pirate marauders, so this isn't going to be much of a fight at all, especially when we upgraded our frigate to hold a laser cannon as well. So that is victory. And it takes us to the post-fight screen there. And that is combat in Master of Orion. So, yeah, that is my very quick review of the early access for Master of Orion. Like I said, if you're a die-hard fan, this is probably going to be a game for you, although it does have a pretty steep buy-in cost. And I think I have waffled on for long enough, so it's time to give you my final thoughts, and we'll go from there. On to my final thoughts for the game itself. It feels very intuitive. If you've never played a 4X strategy game before, you'll probably be a little bit lost off to start with. But like I said, I've played the game for about 8 hours now. And when I first started, there were a few things like, oh, I wonder how I can do this. And to be honest, everything is just as intuitive as you think it is. Like, if you queue up some things to be built, and you realise you've put them in the wrong order, you can just drag them around. You can move them if you like. You can drag that one to be the one to be built, and it remembers how much of the automated factory has been built. Or you can drag it back here. And you can buy any building just by clicking this button here. Everything is nice and intuitive. You can move, like I said, move people around like this. One thing I will say, a nice little trick is, if you ever buy a building, move everybody out of production for that one turn, because you don't need any production for that one turn. And it'll give you a nice little boost towards your food there. But anyway, we were talking final thoughts. I do think the game is worth it. I am slightly worried about the buy-in price for early access, but I think that's just to provide a barrier to entry so that not everybody is in here making harebrained suggestions. I'm not too sure about whether the game is difficult enough, whether it's in-depth enough for real die-hard strategy fans. If you're a fan of something like Civ 5... or Total War, you will love this. It's very clean, very crisp, very, very intuitive, easy to pick up, but there's still a lot of strategy involved with it, especially with the space lanes. Without people being able to move anywhere, it's going to be very easy to make choke points, to be able to funnel enemies, and to be able to move around like that. Multiplayer is going to be where this thing will certainly excel. Absolutely, I believe that multiplayer will be a big thing for this game. So, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, and it's helped you make your decision on whether you will enjoy this game or not, and you found the very quick overview useful, don't forget to leave me a like. Leave me a comment in the comment section below if there's anything specific you would like to know, and I'll do my best to answer any and all questions that we receive. So, thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will catch you next time.